Hello, welcome to the Opinionistics. I'm your host, John Malone. In this episode, no co-host, because, again, as always, don't know why. Introducing from Huntsville, Texas, Holly Hester.
Hi, John. How are you? Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So, Holly, what do you do for a living?
Oh, John, that's a good question. I do many things. I am a host on a fashion network. I'm an impressionist and portrait painter artist. I'm a life coach and I'm an author. I do many things. So yeah, I just like I said, I just wear many hats. So I'm a speaker too.
Fantastic. And how long you've been doing all of that for?
Oh, many years. Probably for at least 10 years now. Because it was a lot of behind the scenes as well. It was a lot of working behind the scenes and things like that, and just connecting with people. So that people are really my passion.
Sweet.
Hmm.
So, out of the professions and the works you've done, what has been your most favorite?
Oh, out of all of those, probably, I would be lying if I said that it wasn't fashion, and I would be lying if it said that it wasn't writing. So probably right on up there. Writing, so forming my book and the process of my book, and just painting because of the soul, and the soul needs that sort of thing because of the beauty in this world, and so artist. Writing in my book and just fashion. So yeah, it's about the process. So those are my favorite.
Hmm, fabulous. Where do you see yourself 20 years from now?
Oh, I take it day by day. So in 20 years, I hope that I'm happy. In 20 years, everyone wants to find love. They want to also find the God in everything. They want to find. They just want to know their purpose and keep going in their purpose and hope they're affecting lives. So in another 20 years, I see myself affecting lives, perhaps settled down and just painting, a historical painting somewhere, and just having fun and impacting others and impacting millions and billions, hopefully one day. Yeah.
Sweet. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Well, right now, with the way things are, it's so funny. It's so interesting of a question, John. I would probably live in Europe, to be honest with you, Paris or London, where the way of life is just so much more interesting. I mean, you have people. I've heard in London that people still come to your door. The milkman still comes to your door and delivers that. So they're very old fashioned. They're a different culture over there. So I would probably live in where they appreciate things. They have high they have high values and things like that. It's very different from America. So I would probably live in Europe somewhere if I can. you know
Yes, absolutely. What could you give a 40-minute presentation on without any preparation?
oh, what could I give a presentation on? um Probably life and mindsets. I would probably give a presentation on what my book is about and what I firmly believe in. Um, there's a difference in mentality and a mindset, and mentality is not so bad to have, but you would much rather have a mind that is set on something. Because I keep telling people. People ask me, "What is higher living about?" You write what's in your book, and you give a presentation on what is in your book because that is your purpose and that is what you're driven by each day. And if it's not, you're gonna have to reevaluate something. So what my presentation would probably be is a demonstration and of the way of the pivotal point that it was for me, for my mind to have been set in something, because from my background and from the legacy that I am from, people that have been instrumental in my life have been set in their minds on being a great parent. They've been set in their minds on overcoming and being better at something that somebody failed in their life to do that very much impacted them either in the positive or the negative way. So my mind has been set on some things in my life, and that's exactly what I would present to people.
Fabulous. What's something that a lot of people are missing out on because they don't know about it?
What is something that people know or that they don't know about me?
What's something that a lot of people are missing out on because they don't know about it?
Uh, they don't know about it. Oh
Hmm.
wow. Um, that there is genuineness in this world, that there is love in this world, and that there is a calling for everyone. You know, there is a purpose for everyone, and people don't know how much help that there. People don't know how much awareness that there is out there. People, you think that in one particular area of the world that you see so much complete awareness for things and the ability to fix things, and opportunities and open doors. But then in other places of the world, they feel like this doesn't exist because they're not the ones doing it. They're not the ones solving the problem. So the one thing that is out there that I would encourage people to see is that there are open doors, there are solutions to problems, and that there is awareness, and that it doesn't have to fade out like everything else does.
Hmm. Yes, absolutely. If someone wrote a book about you, what do you think its title would be?
Probably strategy. And because I'm such a unique of a person, it would probably have to be strategy and how to achieve your goals in the way of just a changed mindset. If someone ever wrote a book about me, that's what it would be. It's a strategy because there's a strategy to everything, and you absolutely can have what you want, and you can have it in a short period of time, and it's not about you. So the book would probably be very anti-narcissism, probably anti-narcissism, and how to develop as a strategist from an anti-narcissistic perspective. There you go. There's a book title, and you didn't have to pay me for it.
Sweet.
There you go, John.
Nice. Are you a cat person or a dog person?
Am I a cat person or a dog person? Oh, a dog person. But I'm a tiny dog person. I love big dogs, but I'm a fluffy dog kind of person. I just lost mine, and so I'm kind of that having that separation right now. She was adorable. Her name was Honey, and she was my best friend.
Yeah, absolutely. If you were given 500 acres of land, what would you use that land for?
That's such an interesting question. I actually come from acreage. Before I moved into this city, I probably moved into the city when I was about 3 or 4 years old. So I'm a city gal. I'm a city gal completely. I'm a city girl. But I was on some acreage as an infant. And I enjoyed that. I enjoyed being on acreage and learning about horses and things like that. Not everyone in Texas that's from Texas in LA has horses and wears cowboy hats and stuff like that. So I'm not into the whole cliche thing, but I was on acreage, and it was great, and I enjoyed every bit of it, and I enjoyed the peace of it. And there's so many stars in the sky and so many things you can just breathe.
Ah, yes. Do you prefer headphones or earbuds?
Oh, headphones, probably earbuds. Earbuds are the best. They're so convenient.
All right then. Do you enjoy spicy food?
I do. I spoke one time for a group of the Indian culture. I spoke for the Indian culture. I was hosted by them one time to speak. And it was great family, great community. And they served us as they hosted. They served us. They hosted us and fed us things like that. And they hosted me and my team, and it was great. And but I've been to some places. I've been in that culture, and some others, in front of others of that culture and things like that, in different families and different communities, different businesses and such. And their food, it's different kind of spicy. And if you're lucky, you'll have the mild type of spicy, and you can just kind of eat a lot of bread that they serve. You have to cut it with bread. But I do like spicy food. I just can't take the how much they can spice it up. They can really spice it up depending on who's cooking it. So I get really lucky because I've had some, nose dripping, awful, just like I'm about to die here type of thing. Like, so yeah, I do like it, but in the mild form. I got to eat some bread with it, cut some of that spice. I'm sure you've done the same thing like we all have. You're just like, I'll muddle through.
Yes, absolutely. In what situation do you wish you could throw down a smoke bomb and just disappear?
Oh, probably I'm an actress. That's one of my titles. So when you have to do more takes than need be, and when you do a scene improperly on set, when I speak in front of others and I am just not winning over the audience, or I'm having a bad life coaching session, or I screwed up a painting, that sort of thing. And so it all just depends on what you're doing. If you're hosting and you say the wrong thing, or just something like that. So it all, you know it's just whatever the motion is. I can tell you the worst thing in the world is when I want to throw a smoke bomb down, is when um, other people line you up in a situation. Like, I'll go to red carpets, or I'll go to mixers, or I'll do certain things in entertainment industry. I'll work with a bunch of PRs and stuff like that, and you just say the wrong thing to them, and they stare at you, and they just kind of line you up for some of that sometimes. And that's when you wish that you could just, oh my God, just make my words disappear. I don't necessarily want to disappear. I just want my words to, and I just want how this made me look, my image, how this went just awry. So that what I would want to disappear, the words coming out of my mouth. So
Yes, indeed. If you could know the absolute and total truth to one question, what question would you ask?
probably motive. What compels people? What compels the motives of others? What is deep inside of their heart? I would want to know heart, because I grew up in a Christian household. I'm motivational now, and I grew up in a Christian household. I grew up in a very good household, and my mother was very loving. I cannot say this about both parents, but my mother was very loving, and she, despite her traumatic childhood, she taught me many, many good things, many, many good ways. But despite that, growing up, and I was taught that no one knows heart except for God, except for higher power, God, that kind of thing. No one knows man's heart. Other than it's just something that man cannot figure out, other than God Himself. I would want to know a heart, the motive, and a heart, and the condition of someone's heart, because that has been the basis of all security levels and insecurities and things that have just really compelled people to do strange things that can leave you guessing. So it would probably be looking at the heart. I would want to know what the heart is, and read thoughts, that kind of thing. That would be my one question.
Yes, absolutely. If you could get an exotic pet, what kind of companion would you like to have?
Oh, wow. Um, a companion. I would like a companion that is very much like me, very, very unique, very cultured, very, very influential, but kind of gets me, can kind of just play life cello, or next to me. That's what the ideal person is, and it takes a long time. It takes going through a lot of what do you call it, violins, to get to the cello, and then finally to get to the orchestrator, the head of the orchestra. And that takes a while, but you figure it out, and you can eventually get next to them, and direct the whole choir and orchestra next to them, and figure out your place there.
Hmm, interesting.
Hmm.
If you were transported 500 years into the past or into the future with no belongings, how would you prove that you were from the future or the past?
I would probably prove it, and this is so crazy, but not with ID, although IDs work, identification. I would probably prove it through social media. because you cannot make the internet disappear. And once you blitz something, it is out there and it can never go away. So I would probably use some form of what is over my head to use to prove that I am from this year, I'm from that year type of thing. So that's a really brilliant question. So the internet is and will always be a huge control over mankind. So I would probably use the internet, use social media, use something that is not my property anymore to prove that I was a part of that and that I aligned with it. Like we all do.
Yes, absolutely. What song is a 10 out of 10, yet hardly anyone has heard of it?
What song is a 10 on a 10? There's so many hidden out ones out there. Probably operatic. Operatic is a really good. I'm not going to mention artists, but like a particular song. There's one R&B song or one very like eclectic song out there that really no one has heard of. I can't remember the title, but it's very feminine and it's also in its own category. But there are just so many. Um, People already know about the "Somewhere Over the Rainbow" song by that particular artist. And how that was created is so fascinating. But people already know that song. But it's sort of like that. It sort of has that genre. It sort of has that relaxation, easy listening to genre. So I would have to say it's in the easy listening category. But I myself am an operatic Renee Olstead. It just depends on the day for me. But yeah, I'm a really firm believer in that.
Nice. If you could have a never-ending candle that smelled like anything you wanted, what fragrance would you like it to be?
Probably Vanilla Woods. I'm a real Vanilla Woods or apple, a cinnamon apple, because I love the holidays and also because I just love that clean smell. So either one or the other. I'm a real big candle person, though. It's funny that you guys said that. I'm a real big Glad person, and I'm a real big like room scent person. Scents are everything.
Mm, yes. How did you spend your last birthday?
How do I spend my? Oh gosh, do I even know? Because I take it day by day, and I'm very future minded. I try to be at least. How did I spend my last birthday? Probably with family and eating and just trying to hear my we have a tradition that we always tell how each other was born. My parents tell how I was born, and they go into the details of that, and it just kind of makes you feel special. It just is that warm family feel. So I didn't celebrate it complicated. I just kept it simple. I don't do a lot, and I just try to relax. So that was a good one.
Sweet. What was the longest trip you've ever been on?
Longest trip. Well, I didn't go to China and back for sure. um, Honestly, if it's more than 48 hours, it depends on where I'll go. So the longest trip to me has probably been in the car to LA, where I'm from. Uh, anything outside of Texas, where I come from, it takes 8 hours to even get out of the state of Texas, or probably even more. Like I feel like it's like 12 hours or something strange like that. There's a huge stretch of land, so it all depends on where you're going. California is just a 24-hour drive, road trip, whatever. It's like I said, it all depends on where you're going. New York is even further. And then I mean, I don't even know, like Hawaii and just places. Like I said, it depends on the part of the map. So yeah, I've been in some really, really, really long, car rides. So I'd have to say anywhere for me because I'm a plane girl. I hate road trips. I'll take them, but I can't. Oh God, yeah.
Yes. Same. What product would you seriously stockpile if you found out they weren't going to sell it anymore?
Ooh, really good one. Probably salt in a room, or it depends if they can't make it anymore, like water and oxygen. So just the essentials. If they weren't making it anymore, It's very interesting because when there was quarantine, when everything shut down, um, and they were even talking about banks and everything shutting down. And during that time, and it was interesting because everyone was taking their money out of their bank accounts and just, and so that whole thing was going on. But um, anything essential, because at this point, anything else you can probably improvise and come up with it yourself. Because there's things like Google and things that you can just write down. It's stuff that you can solve because the mind is brilliant. So you can pretty much do that. But the necessities you cannot, like, water, oxygen, salt in a room. You can do a lot with salt. That's the one thing that is preserved throughout time. So just other things like that, like it's like you're not making any more of this. Oh my God, we're going to have to, there is no plan B, there is no plan C. So you're going to have to think in overdrive. So it all depends on what it is. It all depends on what the need is.
Yes, indeed.
Hmm.
Have you heard of a drink called banana friche?
No, what is that?
So, it is a banana flavored milkshake slash smoothie that has many of the tingly sensations in the world.
Hmm.
So yeah,
That's
that's about
cool.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I would absolutely love to try it for sure.
me too.
It sounds fun.
Yes, it does.
Hmm.
If you've been interrogated and so far you've held very strong, what song do they play on repeat that will break you?
Oh, probably Too Late to Apologize by One Republic. So many like that. Um, um, I thought about one the other day that was just like that, where it's just like, oh, you listen to it and you go, oh my God, this was me. Like, we've all been there, that nostalgic feeling. So, One Republic, Too Late to Apologize, or just like, um, yeah, just things like that, songs like that, where you just like you've been there. So, there's so many more. I'm just missing so many more. That's not the top of my head, but just songs that just like, oh, So yeah, that's good.
Fabulous. What is the most comfortable piece of clothing you own?
My PJs. My pajamas and my sweats, and I love them. And they can be any brand in the world. I go for what's comfortable. I don't care about labels. I mean, I feel about how everyone else does. They'd rather pick the comfort. They don't mind the labels, but they'd rather have the comfort type of thing. So I have these really silky, like just cotton pants that I absolutely love. So they're good, and they're cheetah, and they keep me warm. That's the main thing. Interesting question, John. I'd be
Yes.
curious about yours too. I mean, you
Yes,
never know with a man.
yes. In fact, I'm actually wearing very comfortable pajamas right now.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yes. So yeah, that's something.
Yes, it is something.
Yes. What's your favorite ice cream topping?
Coffee. Absolutely. My favorite flavor or the favorite topping? Oh, topping is probably um cookie dough. Cookie dough topping.
Oh, yes. Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What is the best thing you've ever bought off Amazon?
Oh, you can do a lot. You can buy a lot of things on Amazon. So probably just like girly things, you know, that you can just do pretty much anything. I would have to say electronics and things that you just random electronic things that help with podcasting and just things like that. Oh, those things. Oh, you can't go wrong. I mean, you could, something could definitely go wrong, but when you take a chance and it's that dynamite one purchase and you're just like, yeah, I did good. You open the package, nothing seems scratched. You got a good deal. You're like, yeah, I did good. So,
Hmm. Yes, very good.
mm.
What bad habits would you want to get rid of?
Ooh, the bad habit of negative thoughts towards yourself, probably. The bad habit, the bad ideas. Just self critiquing ideas. That's a bad habit. Bad habits and that and just like ticks and things like that sometimes that you just kind of develop. Yeah, I would have to say that. Yeah, just anything that just doesn't help you.
Yes. Couldn't agree more.
Mm.
If you see a puddle on the ground, do you walk around it, over it, or through it?
Oh, around it or over it. Depends. It depends on where, depends on how big of a puddle it is.
Ah, yes. What were the silliest things you believed as a child?
Ah, that I could fly in the natural and defy science, although it wasn't silly. But now looking back on it, it's your brain conceives it as silly. So probably that, yeah, it's silly. Dreaming is never silly, and wanting to fly is never silly. But thinking that you can defy something and kind of not, and something could potentially break, that's silly. Like could potentially not break, you can't break a leg or you couldn't get hurt during the process. That's super silly. What
Ah, yes, of course. What was the last funny video you've watched?
was the last funny video I've watched? Oh, this is okay. So there's a show with a certain guy. He's so controversial. What is his name? I forget this TV show. It's like a night show with a guy, and it's almost like ridiculousness, but it's just one guy instead of having a lot of like side cast, like co-casting. It's just one guy. He's so ridiculous. I forget his name at the top of my head. I think he's like it's like TMO something like that. I don't know. It's just this. I don't know what station, but it's like I think it's on E or something. It's kind of like a spin-off of ridiculousness, but more opinionation toward people hurting themselves. So it's just one of those things. It's a comedy routine and it's enjoyable. I study it sometimes because I do comedy a little bit. So I study those kind of things. And late at night, it just all works. So,
Hmm, of course.
mhm.
What's a common misconception people have about you?
Oh, that I'm like any other blonde and that yeah, like I'm like any other blonde, and that I can be scattered at times. Um, and we can all be scattered. We can all be, we can all kind of get crazy and distracted. But the common misconception about me is I'm just like any other blonde, and I'm just like any other like Texan turned Cali girl, and that yeah, and that I can't kind of find my way back type of thing, that I'm not willing to grow. Oh yeah, that's a big one. Those are big ones.
Hmm, interesting.
Hmm.
Would you rather be able to breathe underwater or have the agility of a cat?
Depends on what those cats' abilities are.
Okay, I can see that.
Hmm. But I would love to
Especially,
breathe underwater.
oh yeah, me too. Have you ever thought of a world that is a massive garden?
Yes. And when you say guarded, how do you mean?
I'm thinking hedges, gazebo,
Mm,
anything that you would see in a big garden, and the potential of green space and yeah, everything else.
okay, okay. Yes. I think that kind of already does exist somewhat, because if we've ever thought it in our minds, it's truth is it's probably reality already. But yes, I think of a world that's more like that. I feel like that is to come, a world that's just so guarded. I feel like people are going to be like that. They're going to be a lot more guarded for where the direction that the world is going. Yeah, I can see a world like that. I can definitely see a world like that. How I would, I can tell you how I would be. I stay guarded as a person in general. I mean, barbed wire fences are not just physical. They can be proverbial for everyone too. So yeah.
Mm, yes, absolutely. And that is all we have for this episode. It's great having you on, Holly, talking about your works as an author, life coach, actress, and all other creative work. It's been great.
Yes. Thank you so much, John, for having me. I enjoyed it, and I look forward to trying that fruity beverage. Hopefully, if I can make it
Yeah,
myself.
okay, very good. And until next time, stay opinionated.